everyone. Our clock is reading 3 p.m. EST, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to our webinar about moving on up, upgrading ProcessMaker 2 to ProcessMaker 3. I'm Summer, the training lead here at ProcessMaker, and I'm here with Pedro Silva, who's the lead technical support engineer, who is going to be giving you the lowdown on everything about how to upgrade ProcessMaker 2 to ProcessMaker 3. Since Pedro's the expert here, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to him. So thank you, Pedro, for being here today.
Thank you very much, Summer, for the introduction. Again, my name is Pedro Silva. I'm a lead technical support engineer here at ProcessMaker. I've been working with support for about 4 years and a bit more. And we're going to talk today about the upgrade that is going to take place from ProcessMaker 2.x to 3.x. The idea for this webinar is to give you a roundup of what you can do or what benefits you will get by upgrading ProcessMaker. So let's begin. So this is going to be the agenda today. We're going to talk about why upgrading to ProcessMaker 3.x is going to be a good idea. I'm going to talk to you about the upgrade paths that we have for different users that are currently using ProcessMaker 2.x. And also we're going to talk about the upgrade overview, which is going to be pretty much the actual upgrade process. Finally, we're going to have a Q&A session where if you have any question, we'll be happy to address it. So let's begin. So why should we upgrade to ProcessMaker 3.x? Well, we're going to talk about compatibility with 2.x processes, what features you're going to get by upgrading, and the benefits that your organization is going to have in different areas. So, for example, something that I mentioned initially is that I was working with ProcessMaker for about 4 years, so I had the opportunity to see firsthand the process of upgrading for most of our clients. So one of the initial misconceptions that we had, and we still have, is that ProcessMaker 3.x is not compatible with processes of ProcessMaker 2.x. This is not true. In this case, you're going to be able to run your cases. You're going to be able to continue the cases that you already started. So in this case, ProcessMaker 3.x is fully compatible with your 2.x processes. And also, something that we need to have in mind is that probably you will need to do some maintenance to your process, or you might need to add a field or a text box perhaps. You're going to still be able to do that in ProcessMaker 3.x. So if we talk about the features that you're going to get by upgrading, probably some of the most important would be that you're going to get a jQuery BPMN 2.0 process designer. So it's going to be fully drag and drop. You're going to have a lot of options to do a more visible design. In this case, you're also going to have support for subforms in your Dynaform. So this is pretty useful when it comes to requests, where your initial request needs to go to different approvers. In the past, if you had this scenario, you would need to duplicate your Dynaforms, and if you need to do an upgrade or an update to your main request, you will need to modify each Dynaform. So this took time, and with subforms, if you get to do it in the main form, the changes are going to be reflected in all the other that uses the same form as a subform. You will also get a drag and drop Dynaform designer. So this is going to be more intuitive. You're going to see that you'll greatly benefit from this option because it's going to be easier to create Dynaforms because you're going to be able to just take a control, put it in the form, and just rearrange the form dynamically if you need it. And one other feature that we have in ProcessMaker 3.x is that you're going to be able to do a granular process export and import, meaning that in the past, if you needed to export your process you will need to export the whole process, the whole definition, the dynaforms, the triggers, the external connections, while in this case, you're going to be able to do sections. Only you're going to be able to export what you need. While we talk about features, we can also talk about new plugins available in 3.x. So we understand that in the past, we used to use Active Directory for authentication. This is still going to be able in ProcessMaker 3.x, but in ProcessMaker, we know that organizations are looking for better ways, new technologies. So we are making available authentication through single sign-on through SAML. So in this case, you're going to be able to do your single sign-on with Chevrolet, apps for you, Microsoft Active Directory Federation Services, One Login, Okta. And obviously, if we talk about major technologies, Google Authentication is also available. So if we do a quick comparison, you could see that you will get a lot of new features by upgrading. So not only you're going to get the new plugins for SAML and Google Authentication, the support for subforms and jQuery compatibility in Dynaforms, you're also going to get specific controls for the mobile application. We're going to talk about mobile applications a little bit later, but you're going to be able to add a QR reader, an image, so you're going to be able to use your camera phone. You're going to be able to add audio, video, and also you're going to have the option to do finger signature from your phone. So you're also going to have multiple file uploader inside your Dynaforms. In the past, we had a plugin that used to do this, but it was being used as a step. But in this case, you're going to be able to use multiple file uploader within your Dynaform. And something that we've been asked a lot was to improve our web entries. In this case, ProcessMaker 3.x provides you with Web Entry 2.0, which is going to give you a lot more features. It's going to allow you to use multiple Dynaforms. You're going to be able to use triggers. So yeah, this is a great step forward. Not only that, you're going to get advanced reporting. Initially, we had simple reports, which they did their job, but we were looking for something more complex, more advanced. So we have a plugin called Data Reporting Tool that is going to allow you to do wonderful things. We also have KPIs. We're going to talk a little bit about this later. And you also have multiple email accounts. So you're going to be able to use multiple email accounts in your installation. Depending on your requirements, you're going to be able to use an account for certain things and a different account for different things. So you're also going to have user-based time zone management. This means that, for example, if your company works with users in different areas in different countries, each user is going to get the information they need in their time zone. So this is going to avoid a lot of confusion. So those are, most of the features that I can talk about, but you're also going to get benefits. We were talking about benefits for different areas of your company. And okay, so let's continue. I thought that there was a problem with sound. So I mentioned that you were going to get different benefits for different areas for your organization. So this will affect the end users. Your end users are going to be able to use responsive Dynaforms. So it won't really matter if they fill out the forms in a computer, in a tablet, or a mobile device. And talking about mobile devices, in ProcessMaker 3.x, we now have available a mobile application. So your mobile application will be able to be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the App Store. And also your end users are going to see a better performance, because in ProcessMaker 3.x, we worked a lot when it comes to performance. We know that performance is a key factor when it comes to working with an application. So those are the benefits that your end users are going to get. But if we talk about the developers that are working on your processes, we provide a robust REST API. So if your developers have an external application that needs to talk with ProcessMaker, we have a big REST API that provides you with a lot of functions that you pretty much can do anything from outside ProcessMaker. We also have a plugin that can help you connect to different providers. For example, if you need your process to create a Google appointment in Calendar, you're going to be able to do that. If you need to upload perhaps one of your input documents or output documents to Google Drive, you're going to be able to do that. We have a predefined library in connectors that comes out of the box from the plugin, but you'll also be able to create your own. Another benefit for your developers is that ProcessMaker 3.3.6, which is the new version that was released yesterday actually, is fully compatible with PHP 7. And again, one of the best options that was asked a lot was to use jQuery in the Dynaforms. So this is available out of the box. So you're also going to have benefits for administrators. Your administrators are going to be able to see custom reports via data reporting tools, which is a plugin that is available in 3.x. And also we provide access to KPIs. So with KPIs, you're going to be able to see if you have a bottleneck when it comes to the process. Perhaps one of the tasks is taking too much and needs some adjustment. So you're going to be able to check that. And you're also going to be able to see if there's a bottleneck when it comes to the users. So you're going to see if XY user is taking too much time in doing certain things, and perhaps you can do an adjustment, or perhaps it's related to workload. But yeah, you're going to be able to see that information with KPI. So if we talk about the upgrade path, we have different users actually using the application, currently using the application. We have our enterprise subscribers, and we have our community users. For our enterprise subscribers, if you want to upgrade, it's just a matter of contact us via our ProcessMaker support portal. Most of you are familiar with that, with Mantis. And you contact support, and support is going to engage professional services to assess the complexity of the upgrade. And from this point forward, support and professional services will work hand to hand. Support is going to provide assistance throughout the core code upgrade, which means the main ProcessMaker, and professional services is going to work on the modifications that the process needs to have, the plugins, perhaps something that might not be compatible anymore. So yeah, you're going to get support throughout the process. When it comes to community users, you will be able to get a lot of information from our ProcessMaker forum and also from our ProcessMaker wiki. And actually, all the information about the upgrade is in the wiki. So if you need some information or you come across any issue, the forum is going to be there for you. Okay, so we're going to talk about the upgrade overview, which is going to be the actual process of upgrading ProcessMaker. There is a path to follow when it comes to upgrading. Let's say you are in 2.5x and you need to go to 3.3.6. You will need to go to 3.2.2 first, or 3.2.3. So at the bottom of each version, I'm putting the version of the services that you're going to need. For example, in 2.5x, you're going to need PHP 5.3, MySQL 5.1, Apache 2.2, and this is usually in a CentOS 6 environment. So as you can see, to go to 3.2.2, we will need to upgrade PHP, we will need to upgrade MySQL, and we will also need to upgrade Apache 2.4, meaning that initially, to go from 2 to 322, we will need to migrate the installation to a new server. And then, if you can see the difference between 322 and 336, there are some similarities. So at this point, you're going to be able to use the same server to upgrade until 336. Also, you're going to have the option to go to PHP 7 and 336, but yeah, you can still be in 5.6 if you needed to. So upgrading ProcessMaker 2.5x to 3.x, in this case, we're going to go to 3.2.3. Involves several steps. As you can see, those are pretty straightforward. And as I've mentioned before, this information is available in our wiki page. And the initial step would be to prepare your new server with a new stack, which means that you will need a new CentOS 7 server and install the services, PHP, FPM 5.6, MySQL 5.6. And I suggest in this case to go to Nginx 1.x. Then you're going to restore your current 2.x installation that you're going to do a backup in your main servers, let's say, and your 2.5x server, and then you restore it in your new server. Once you restore it in your new server, you need to override the core files with the new tarball of 3.2.3, and then configure the PMOS configuration file for Apache, or in this case, Nginx, and then configure the db.php user. So this is the user that is going to interact with ProcessMaker. We have a couple of queries that are in our wiki that needs to be run when you do the upgrade. So you run those queries prior to the upgrade, and then you proceed to upgrade the database. In this case, you will need to upgrade the database first before unifying it, because there are certain similarities between the RB database and the WF database. So if you join them beforehand, you're going to be overriding some information, and your installation is going to become corrupted. Once you unify the database, you can upgrade your application and then flush cache and apply your 3.x license. And at that point, you're going to be ready to go to test in 3.2.3, because the idea would be to upgrade from 2.5x to 3.2.3 and make sure that in 3.2.3 you're going to be able to work on your processes. You're going to be able to open your Dynaform, your process, create new process. The idea would be to have a fully functional installation prior to go to 3.3.6 in this case. So I don't know if I have it available, but let's give it a go. I will show you the actual process. In this case, I have two servers. Let's say that my first server with 2.5x is the 201, with the IP 201. So let me just pull out my web browser. So I have my current 2.5x installation here. So I have a simple process just for testing purposes. And if we go to admin, we will see that my current version is 2.5.2.8, which is probably one of the most common versions that are being used today. So as you can see, I have my server which ends in 201. I prepare a new server, which is going to be the 202, which has the stack prepared for 3.2.3. So let me just open a PuTTY session, and I'll show you the actual process. So here's my PuTTY session for my 201 server. And we have several commands that we're going to follow, but we're pretty much going to follow this line. So let me just show you that we are in the correct server. Okay, 201. So meaning that preparing the new server, as I mentioned, I already have a 202 with the proper stack. I have the versions that I need, PHP, Nginx. So what I need now is to create a backup of my current 2.x installation. So I'm going to go to my OPT. Pretty much everything we do in ProcessMaker is in the OPT. And something that we can use is, let me just open the PuTTY of my 202 server in the different PuTTY session. Okay, well, I opened the PuTTY session in my window. I want to show you that the next step would be to go to 323 to 336. But as you can see, the steps we follow are not so complex as compared to 256 to 323. So in this case, you're going to be able to do it quickly, and it's going to be actually faster when it comes to the upgrade. So the installation that I have for testing purposes is just a basic installation. I only have one user. You know, the idea would be to do this quickly, and we're going to do just that. So I'm just preparing a couple of commands to run, and I'll be showing you in a bit. The idea would be to show you the commands that we're going to run for the actual upgrade. And what I want to show you right now is where you can find this information when it comes to our wiki. So, well, let me just pull that wiki page, and you're going to see that all the information is there. Okay, so here is the upgrade plan in our wiki page. So as you can see, it's going to tell you the prerequisites that you'll need for the upgrade, the roadmap. This is a bigger information that I showed you before. The initial images that I showed you was that if you want to go from 2.5x to 3.3, you can do it in a certain way, but in this case, you will be able to see if you are in 2.0.4.5. In this case, there are some users that are still using that version. You will need to go to 2.5x first, then you will need to go to 3.3, and then you will find all the steps necessary to do the actual upgrade, from creating your plan, a set of steps that you need to follow, and the actual command that you will need to run from ProcessMaker 2.0 to 5, and then step by step you're going to find all the information that you're looking for. And I've mentioned about a couple of queries that you will need to run. So these are the ones when you are going from 2.x to 3.2 in this case, because before going to 3.3 we're going to need to go to 3.2. So as you can see, you can find all this information, and all of this is available. It's publicly available in our wiki. So before I test my initial upgrade, I would like to go to the Q&A section to make sure that we are, in the same page when it comes to all the information that has been provided.
All right, thanks Pedro for that presentation. If you have any questions at this point, you can feel free to submit them right now. While you guys are submitting their questions, I want to go over some of the upcoming webinars we have. So our next webinar is going to be about making forms more dynamic with REST endpoints, and that's going to be in about 2 weeks on March 28th at 11 a.m. ET. And for those of you who aren't familiar with REST endpoints, they allow you to add additional functionality to your Dynaforms from external applications. So you can, for example, validate whether a username exists in another application outside of ProcessMaker right from a Dynaform. And that's going to be a really cool one. And then after that, we have a webinar about our integration with LUMAPS. So if you are familiar with LUMAPS, and even if you're not, we're going to familiarize you. And that's going to be on Tuesday, April 16th at 3 p.m. ET. So if you're interested in attending either of these webinars, feel free to register at processmaker.com/services/webinars, which is listed at the bottom of this slide. So again, if you haven't already, please submit your questions at this point and we can go ahead and answer them. So our first question asks, can you import users from ProcessMaker 2 to ProcessMaker 3?
Yes, in this case, all the users are going to be imported. So if you have a set of groups, departments, a whole hierarchy in your 2.x installation, you're going to have all of that in 3.x due to the upgrade. Okay, so we have another question, which is if you can import 2.x processes in ProcessMaker 3.x. Yes, you will be able to do that if you have an old process that you will need to use or you need to use. You will be able to import that process in ProcessMaker 3.x. Also, something that I'm saying is that there was a report that the trays in ProcessMaker 2.x, when you have a lot of cases, tend to have slow performance. Well, this has been addressed in ProcessMaker 3.x because we focus a lot on performance. So in the past, we usually used to get information for all the trays from one table. And in ProcessMaker 3.x, we have separate tables for each tray. So this will make the home section a lot faster. So if you need to load your pending cases, your inbox, your drafts, your unassigned, this is going to be loaded a lot more quickly.
All right, and we've got another question here. It reads, what's the average downtime for a typical upgrade process?
Okay, so it really depends on your environment and how many cases you have, how many users you have, and how many information you have. For example, there are cases where we have 100 gigabytes databases and like 500 gigabytes in information when it comes to input documents and output documents. So this can take around 24 hours to perhaps 36 hours, depending on actually, the time it takes of doing the task in your server. We have to have in mind the specification of the servers as well. So it could take that amount of time. But if you have an installation that doesn't have a lot of information, that has thousands of cases and hundreds of users, I could expect the upgrade to finish in about 1 hour, 1 hour and a half from start to finish, from 2.5x to 3.36.
All right, I've got another question here. If ProcessMaker helps with the upgrade process, does it have a cost?
Well, initially, you will be able to create a new ticket in our ProcessMaker support portal, and then support is gonna have an initial meeting with you to take a look at your installation. Depending on the first assessment, we might need to engage professional services because we might see that you have custom plugins or very complex processes. And when professional services is involved, yes, it would involve a cost. But in this case, once the deal is made, ProcessMaker support and professional service are going to work hand to hand to provide you with an upgraded instance.
All right, thank you so much for attending our webinar. If you have any additional questions or want more information, feel free to email at us at info@processmaker.com or call us at 1-617-340-3377. So thank you for your time again, and I hope to see you next time.